Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV in conjunction with Colfax High School presents Viking pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking pregame.
Hello and welcome to the NLWN TV studios. Rick Olson here, and today the 2-2 Colfax Vikings are getting ready to bounce back after their tough 67-64 loss to the Mondovi Buffaloes on Thursday evening. Meanwhile, the 2-2 Chippewa McDonell Central Macks are looking to build on their 53-28 victory over the Thorpe Cardinals also on Thursday. Today's game is Game 3 of the Northwest Tip-Off Classic at Johnson Fieldhouse on the campus of the University of Wisconsin-Stout in Menominee. And we'll get you caught up on the scores of the earlier games a little later in this broadcast. Coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at today's matchup between the McDonell Central Macks and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Noel's perspective on today's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, Dan Petschow and I will bring you all the play-by-play action of today's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of game number 3 of the Northwest Tip-Off Classic at UW-Stout between the Chippewa Falls McDonell Central Macks and the Colfax Vikings. The Vikings are looking to bounce back after a difficult 67-64 loss to the Mondovi Buffaloes. In that loss to Mondovi, the Vikings were led in scoring by 6'1" senior Ryan Albright, who caught fire from three-point land, hitting on 5 three-pointers in addition to 2 field goals for 19 points. He was followed by Elijah Ensminger, who cashed in on 7 field goals and 2 free throws for 16 points. Tristan Lenz and Nick Jensen contributed by chipping in 10 points each. Thus far on the season, the Vikings are led in scoring by Ensminger, who's averaging nearly 12 points per game. He's followed by Jack Charlo, who's averaging nearly 11 points per game, and Albright chips in 10 points per game, while Bryce Sikora adds another 8. Lenz and Charlo are the Vikings' leading rebounders, averaging over 8 and 6 boards per game, respectively. The Macks are coming off a 53-28 win over the Thorpe Cardinals. Leading the way for McDonell was 6'5" senior Joe Janis, who hit 7 field goals and a pair of free throws for 16 points. He was followed by 5'11" junior Eddie Mittermeier, who added another 13 points. Thus far on the season, the Macks are led by Janis, who's averaging over 16 points per game. He's followed by 6'3" junior Cannon Huss, who's contributing 15 points per game. Mittermeier, Aiden Misfelt, and Keegan Galvez all have the ability to score in double figures. On the boards, the Macks are led by Janis and Huss, who are pulling down over 7 rebounds per game each. Galvez and Miles Flanagan are grabbing nearly 4 boards per game each. These two teams appear to be fairly evenly matched. The Vikings are averaging nearly 53 points per game, while the Macks are scoring 54. Defensively, the Macks have been allowing an average of 50 points per game, while the Vikings are averaging just over 57. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Mark Knoll on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
You're tuned to the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. We use advertising revenue to make this service available to you. If you have a business and would like to get your message out to our ever-increasing audience, give us a call at 715-563-1749. We'll be happy to discuss our budget-friendly advertising packages with you. Get your business noticed on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV by calling 715-563-1749.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, what they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Today on Coach's Corner, we're talking with Viking boys head coach Mark Knoll. And Coach, on Thursday, the Vikings had a very tough, although pretty exciting game with the Mondovi Buffaloes, where they learned quite a bit in spite of dropping the game 67-64. Your comments about that one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, for a fan's perspective, it was a great game. It was a back and forth game. I mean, Mondovi did start up on a 7-0, and then we got our feet wet and kind of settled into the game, and it took a 1-point lead at halftime. And we had a 1-point lead with about a minute, 10 seconds left, something like that. And we just had some unfortunate errors that happened that ultimately nothing to take against from Mondovi because they played really hard and played well. But there were things that happened in the game that were in our control, that we control better. And that's executing, not turn the ball over, and shot selection. I think those kind of areas are going to help us the most. And as we move forward, last night, the way I look at it, would have loved to have won that game. Ultimately, what we gained from it was a lot of game experience because we have such a young team. We only have 2 kids on the team that have any varsity minutes from last year playing right now. With Mondovi has 5 kids back, and 2 of them have been starting for 2+ years. So, I see.
Yeah, in that game, you had some players like Elijah Ensminger, Nick Jensen, Bryce Sakura, among some others who played their hearts out. Now, can you tell us how they've grown since the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I think they've already made some huge strides. You know, like Nick Jensen having 10 points last night, probably had around 8 rebounds, close to a double-double in his 4th ever varsity game. Elijah had 16 points in his 4th game, tied his career high. You know, Bryce had some great moments for us last night as well. Maybe didn't have the points, that kind of stuff, but led us in other ways. But Albright actually had 19 points for us. He had a career high of 19 points, and he hit 5 threes in the second half, which is pretty awesome, obviously.
Yeah, he pretty much went in fuego in the second half from 3-point land.
Yeah, and if you saw, and as I know you did, he was not thinking about it. He was just catching and shooting, and that's what you want to do as a shooter. You cannot hesitate. You got to shoot your open shots when you're open. And we have a theory in our basketball program that when somebody gets hot, you better keep feeding them the basketball. And they did that last night in the second.
So there's an awful lot of potential for this Viking team if they continue to grow.
Yeah, I think a lot of potential, and that's what you're going to see is right now it's all about gaining experience. And last night we had to gain some hard experience losing at the end of a game like that. But that's something that later on in the season we'll win those games because of that experience.
Now today the Vikings will take part in the Northwest Tip-Off Classic by taking on the Chippewa Falls McDonell Macks from the West Clover Belt Conference. What can you tell us about the Macks and the challenges they present?
Well, McDonell is a very good basketball program. They have a lot of success. They've gone to state, I want to say 5 or 6 years in a row. Adam Schilling is a coach, a great job there. They're going to be very well prepared. He knows a couple of our players. Two of our players played for him in AAU basketball during the summer. Tristan Lenz and Elijah Insminger both played for Coach Schilling over the summer. Now, when it comes to their team, they've got a lot of new kids. They graduated a fair amount of good players from last year, but they've got some size. They got like a 6'5" kid inside, 6'3" shooter on the perimeter, a guard that's about 5'10", 11. He's a lot like Elijah is, kind of shifty. It's going to be a tough matchup, but one that we're looking forward to, going over to UW-Stout and being able to play on a college court and getting on the big boys court and having some fun out there.
Now, in the Macks last game against Thorpe, they were led by, you kind of alluded to him, 6'5" senior Joe Janis, along with 5'11" junior Eddie Mittermeier. But in looking at their overall stats for the season, it appears as though any one of their starting players have the ability to step up, score into double figures, as well as control the rebounds. What do the Vikings need to do to combat that type of attack?
Well, I think ultimately you have to make in-game adjustments. So when the other team, if they gets hot, someone that's feeling it, we have to make those adjustments and try to get that kid out of his rhythm and change something defensively that will do that. Just like we did against Amory when the one kid had a really good first half, made an adjustment in the second half, and the game changed. We have to keep an eye on those kinds of things and be aware of who is hot and try to adjust the game, because a lot of times high school kids have a hard time with that adjustment.
Well, Coach Noel, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings will be able to get back on the winning track and back into conference play next week with a little momentum.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Rick, and appreciate your support. Thank you.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. The Vikings are looking to bounce back from their loss Thursday and put to good use some of the lessons they learned in that defeat. At the same time, the McDonell Macks are looking to keep things on the winning track and get their season record over the 500 mark. So the stage is set for some exciting boys high school basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Now, in just a moment, we'll send it over to UW-Stout in Menominee and the Northwest Tip-Off Classic, where Dan Petchow and I are getting ready to bring you all the action of today's boys game between the Colfax Vikings and the Chippewa Falls McDonell Central Macks. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored? Yeah, we scored going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
But I need that back.
No.
Kevin!
You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Light Colfax Viking basketball. It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help when your computer decides to not cooperate. It can be very frustrating. Let Slayton's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Slayton's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Slayton's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Slayton's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Colfax Viking basketball is on the air.
Lenz with the rebound puts it up and in. Christian Lenz gets the putback shot.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV proudly presents tonight's Colfax Viking boys varsity basketball game.
And it's no good. Rebound taken down and put up and in. Ryan Albright with the rebound.
Join us as we head out to the gym for tonight's Viking basketball.
Inside, gives it off to Hoffman. Hoffman feeds underneath. The shot goes up and in by Nathan Hajdukovic.
Yeah, good cut there by Nate.
Good afternoon. And it's a snowy afternoon. I don't know about you, but I had about 14 inches at my house. And after digging out all of that, I can't think of a better thing to do and spend a little time watching some good high school basketball.
Yeah, I found my way out. I ain't going to miss a game.
You dug your way out of that long driveway of yours and it led right here to UW-Stout where there's basketball going on.
I was going to bring the tractor, but I thought it might take me a little while.
So we have the Vikings taking on the McDonell Macks in the Northwest Tip-Off Classic. Dan, real quick, why don't you tell us who's playing in today's game?
Yeah, here's the starters for McDonell. They're going to go with junior number 5'11", number 1, Aiden Misfelt. Junior 5'11", number 3, Eddie Mittermeier. 6'4", junior, number 22, Keegan Galvez. 6'3", junior, number 33, Cannon Hughes. And 6'5", senior, number 44, Joe Janis. For the Colfax Vikings, they're going to go in number 4, Bryce Sikora. 5'8", sophomore, number 10, Elijah Ensminger. 6'5", senior, number 22, Tristan Lenz. 6'3", junior, number 23, Jack Charlo. And 6'1", senior, number 24, Ryan Albrecht.
Okay, and that's who's going to be playing. They have a pretty nice introduction that they do here at the Classic, and we'll have that for you. And we'll have a whole lot more for you, including all the action of today's game right after this timeout. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
When it comes to your finances, security is just so important. Dairy State Bank's online banking and mobile app offers dozens of new and enhanced real-time alerts. Whether an ATM withdrawal is made or a login to your account failed, you'll instantly know. So now, the technology that makes it easier to manage your money is also making it safer. Visit dairystatebank.com or call to learn more. Dairy State Bank. Banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
And we're back here at Johnson Fieldhouse on the campus of UW-Stout. Both teams are out there warming up. It is the Northwest Tip-Off Classic. And in games that took place earlier today, bright and early in the morning, some people had to be out shoveling really early to get here for this. Bloomer and Cadott made the trip, and I was kind of impressed by the fact that they got here in time for that early morning game. Bloomer knocked off Cadott 63-27 in that early morning game. Then in a game that just wrapped up, it was Thorpe taking on Glenwood City, and Thorpe came out victorious in that one 35-21. So game 3 pits our Vikings against the McDonell Central Macks. Game 4 we'll see Unity taking on Fall Creek. Game 5, Elmwood Plum City is taking on Clear Lake. Game 6, Mondovi, who we saw just the other night, will be playing Osseo Fairchild. Spring Valley against Stanley Boyd will be game 7. And then wrapping up the day, full day of basketball, Elk Mound and Altoona for game number 8. And I'm looking to see if they actually have the times written down here. And I don't. They have all the rosters and everything in this nice program that they have.
At guard, number 1, Aiden Mismount. At guard, number 3, Eddie Mittermeier. At forward, number 22, Tegan Galvez. At forward, number 33, Hannah Butts. And at center, number 44, Joe Janis. Head coach Adam Schilling, assisted by Brandon Mittermeier and Logan Hughes. Now, for your Colfax Vikings. At guard, senior, number 4, Bryce Sikora. At guard, number 10, Elijah Henslinger. At center, number 22, Tristan Lenz. At forward, number 23, Jack Charlo. And the final one, number 24, Ryan Albright.
So there's the starting lineups for today's game for the McDonell Central Macks. We have Misfeld, Mittermeier, Galvez, Huss, and Janis. And for the Vikings, Sikora, Ensminger, Lenz, Charlo, and Albright. Lenz jumping center against Joe Janis. Janis 6'5". Lenz is also 6'5". Ball goes up. Tip is controlled by Lenz. Vikings have it. Ensminger with it. Gets it out to Sikora. He's high, wide, and right. Over to Albright on the left. Takes it between the circles. Over to Sikora on the right. He takes it back out between the circles. Looks like McDonald's in a 2-3 zone. Albright from the left side with a 3, no. And down the floor come the Macks.
Carter inbound. Down low to Lenz. Inside of Charlotte, and he gets fired.
Charlotte to the line.
Charlotte to the line for 2.
Ian Gomez.
Shot just a little short. 0-0 is the score right now. 17:04 left in the first half. Second shot. Right down by the Macks. Just coming for it quickly. Over to the left side. To top of the key. Over to Aiden Misfeld. Now to Kanan Huss, top of the key, over to Eden Mittermeier. Down the right side.
That's Huss with it. And Lenz gets the rebound, but nobody looking for his outlet pass. It was picked up by Misfeld, puts the shot up no good. And the Vikings come down with it. Still no score. 16:25 to go in the first half. We have a whistle and a foul. And Sminger got fouled in the lane. Sikora inbound. Gets it to Ensminger. They're high, wide, and left. He takes it between the circles. Feed over to the right side to Albright. Tries to get it into the lane. There are some blue jerseys in the way. And surfing his way to a ball out of bounds is Huss. Sikora inbounds it to Charlo, runs into some traffic, and they're going to say out of bounds off of Charlo.
A lot of traffic.
They tried to split the traffic, it looked like, and there just wasn't any room there. Mittermeier with it, feeds it down underneath to Janis, who lays it up and in. Joe Janis with the first 2 points of the game. McDonell putting on full court pressure. Charlo gets it over to Sikora, who tried to feed it down low to Lenz, and Lenz didn't realize he was going to lead him, and we're going to get a timeout on the floor with McDonell 2, Vikings 0. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings. Back here at Johnson Fieldhouse, Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow, Chris Olson on the camera. Down the floor comes Misfeld. Feeds it over to the left side to Mittermeier, to Janis. And they get it out high over to the right side to Misfeld. Back out high to Galvez. Misfeld now has it on the right. To Mittermeier. Then over to Galvez, puts up the 3 and he hit it. Keegan Galvez with the 3. 5-0. McDonell on top. Putting on full court pressure. They tip the ball, it goes out of bounds. Be Viking ball.
Yeah, but McDonald's being patient right now, getting the ball moved around and getting some open shots. Colfax has to do the same thing.
Lenz on the shot. Macks get it down. Janis puts the jumper up in the lane. Lenz gets the rebound. He gets it over to Ensminger. Across the timeline. Loses the handle, but picks it back up again. Tries to get the pass to Sikora. It's tipped. McDonell comes down the floor, laying it up as Mittermeier, and in it goes. 7-2. McDonell on top. Sikora with it. On the left side. Gets it to Albright. Back to Sikora. Over to Ensminger. Ensminger drives to the lane. Tries to lay it up. It doesn't go. Outlet pass to Mittermeier. He's across the timeline. Over to the right side to Misfeld. Cross court to Galvez. To Mittermeier. Mittermeier from three, and he hit the three-pointer, 10-2. Chippewa Falls McDonell on top. Sikora. And we got a foul.
Yeah, Colfax will give him that one all day. That was what, 3 feet behind the three-point line?
That's a fourth foul on the McDonell Macks. We don't have a list of the number of fouls these people have. We don't even know who it was on, actually, because they're not putting that up on the scoreboard. But we do know that, take it back, there are 4 fouls on the Macks. Lenz with it. Tries to feed it over into the lane. Misfeld intercepts, takes it down the floor, lays it up. It's no good. Rebound by the Macks, but he came down out of bounds.
Yeah, good job by number 10, Elijah Ensminger, to get back.
Stelter grabbed the rebound, but came down with 2 feet out of bounds. Jensen into the lineup for Lenz for the Vikings. Charlotte inbound. Gets it to Ensminger. Charlo, back to Ensminger, across the timeline. Now they put the trap on him. To Charlo, drives into the lane, gives it to Jensen, puts the shot up, and he hit it! Nick Jensen with the shot, 10-4. McDonell on top. Janis with it, put it up, and it got stuck.
Don't see that every day.
You don't see it all that often. Ball gets knocked loose by Charlo. Into the lineup is Mitch Medine for the Vikings. The shot goes up, it's no good. Rebound, and fouled on the rebound was Jensen.
Yeah, good box out. Number 42, Nick Jensen.
That's the 5th foul on the Macks. Vikings coming down the floor. They get it across the timeline. Ensminger with it on the left side. Comes down the left baseline, drives to the lane, gets it to Charlo, puts it up and in. Jack Charlo cuts it to 4-point lead for the Macks. 10-6. Stelter with it. Gets it out high to Mittermeier. 3-pointer on the way, no good. Rebound out of bounds. Misfeld tried to save it back in. Couldn't quite do it. Miles Flanagan into the lineup for the Macks. He's replacing Cannon Huss. Down the floor come the Vikings. They get it across the timeline. And they're going to get a blocking foul. Ensminger lost it. It was heading out of bounds, but they're going to say a blocking foul on the Macks.
Ref failed Ensminger on that one.
The official went over and explained it to the Macks coach. Ensminger tries to drive the right side, got the ball knocked away. Mittermeier gets it out high, Misfeld. Down underneath, back out to Misfeld. Then we have a whistle and a foul.
I think it was tipped.
Ball was tipped out of bounds. So the Vikings have it. Albright to Ensminger, back to Albright. Back to Ensminger. Down to Medine in the left corner. Now he's on the left wing. Gets it out to Ensminger. To Albright on the right side. Down to Jensen on the right baseline. Puts it up and in. This is what you were talking about a couple days ago, Dan. Jensen's got to put those shots up, and he's doing it. 8-10. Vikings clawing their way back in. Stetler with it. Now they get it over to Misfelt. Then out high to Statler. He was outside the three-point line. They have three different three-point lines down there, and so you have to keep track of which one's which. Ensminger with it. He puts up the three. It's off the air, no good. Jensen with the rebound. They're going to say Jensen fouled on that rebound.
Yeah, kind of a late whistle. Nick already had the ball in his hands.
So that'll be the first foul on the Vikings. Lenz into the lineup for Charlo for the Vikings. And Mittermeier brings it down the floor. He feeds it over to the right side to Cooper Mittermeier. Now back over to the left side, down to the left baseline. Back out to the right side to the top of the key. That's Mittermeier. Puts the shot up, no good. Jensen with the rebound. So we have Eddie Mittermeier and Cooper Mittermeier out there on the floor. Ball's loose on the floor. Scramble for. We're going to get a jump ball called. Lenz and Flanagan had it tied up. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Inbound pass to Jensen. Puts it up and in.
Jensen was 6 points.
13-10 for McDonell on top. 9:50 to go in the first half. McDonell gets it over to Stelter. Shot's no good. Rebound by Cooper Mittermeier to Janis. He turns, and we're going to get a whistle and a foul. Foul's on Albright. Second foul on the Vikings. Inbound pass. Comes out to Mittermeier. That's Eddie. Over to the right side. They got it to Flanagan, who put up the shot. It was no good, and the Vikings have it. Medine gets it over to Sikora. To Lenz. Lenz tries the left baseline. There's no traffic there, and they're going to say he traveled.
Yeah, he got trapped down there in the corner. Didn't know where to go with it.
So the Macks bring it down the floor. Out at the top of the key, it's Eddie Mittermeier. Then to Cooper Mittermeier. Ball gets knocked away. Here comes Albright. Solo flight, kicks it back out to Sikora. Sikora from three. It's off the iron, no good. And out of bounds. It'll be the Macks ball.
Checking it for the back, number 24.
8:56 to go in half number one. McDonell 13, Vikings 10. McDonell brings it down the floor. Janis from the free throw line. It's good. Second basket by Janis. And the Vikings bring it back. Sikora with it. Drives to the free throw line. Gets it over to Medine. Shot is off the front of the iron. Jensen with the rebound. Puts a shot up and he hit it. Maybe Jensen's going to start believing in that shot.
Yeah, Nick just needs to keep up that confidence.
Ball gets knocked away by the Vikings. Medine feeds it to Sikora, who overlaid it. And Janice has it for the Macks. Down the floor they come. Sikora for the Macks has it over on the left side. Now they get it into the lane to Janice. Turnaround jumper is good. Macks have Jordan Sikora out there on the floor. Not to be confused with the Sikora that just gave up the ball. Lenz tries a shot from the left baseline. It gets blocked out of bounds. Charlo into the lineup. Len's a little frustrated, and Coach Knoll with an arm around his shoulder explaining some things to him. Albright with a shot, it's no good. Rebound taken down by Cooper Mittermeier. He gets it off to Sikora. Over to Eddie Mittermeier. Back out to Cooper. Back over to Eddie on the right. Down to Janice on the right baseline. They get it out to Sikora. Over on the left side to Cooper Mittermeier. Shot is up, no good. Rebound batted out of the way. Still being battled for, and they're going to say it's Viking ball.
Good hustle by number 23, Jack Charlo.
Albright to inbound it. To Ensminger. Ensminger take it between the circles. And we have a whistle.
And one too many steps. Traveled by Ensminger.
Blake Johnson is in the lineup for the Vikings. Down the floor is Eddie Mittermeier. Gets it over to Sikora on the right. To Janice, drives the right baseline, lays it up and in. 19-12. Chippewa Falls on top. Pass over to Albright. To Johnson. Over to the right side to Ensminger. Back out to Albright. Puts the three up and he hit it. Ryan Albright with the three-pointer. Cuts it to 4. Mittermeier gets it over to Sikora on the left.
And we got a timeout on the court.
Full timeout.
Full timeout. You're tuned to WNTV.
For something that's delicious and nutritious, simply stop by Fit Fam Nutrition in Colfax. They serve live meal replacement shakes, metabolism-boosting teas and protein coffees. They taste as good as they sound, and they're healthy. Come and visit the Bentons and let them prepare for you a simply sweet treat, or something for the chocoholic or coffee lover in you. Fit Fam is a slam dunk. That's Fit Fam Nutrition, complete with one-on-one wellness coaching and business opportunities. 1020 University Avenue in Colfax. Join us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV for exciting Colfax High School girls basketball. Our next game will be on Tuesday, December 14th when the Vikings host the Durand Panthers. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:55 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Tuesday, December 14th.
Back here at Johnson Fieldhouse, Chippewa McDonell Central Macks 19, Vikings 17. 6:03 to go in the first half. Macks bring it down the floor. They get it over to Misfeld. Cross-court pass, picked up by Mittermeier. Gets it over to the other Mittermeier. Now down to the baseline to Janice. Out to Cooper Mittermeier. To Eddie Mittermeier, puts a shot up, no good. Misfeld tries to get the rebound, can't control it, but the Macks do come up with it, sort of. We have a whistle.
We got a foul on McDonald.
It is It's going to be a foul on Aiden Misfelt. That should be bonus, and it is.
Single bonus.
So Elijah Ensminger at the line for the Vikings with the 1-1.
Checking into the game.
Chance to tie the game here.
Stout.
First shot is up. It's good. 19-18. Ensminger gets the ball, pounds it to the floor a couple times. It's on the way. And we are tied at 19. 5:39 to go in the first half. Mittermeier to Mittermeier, back to Mittermeier. Over to Sikora on the left. To Cooper, to Eddie, to Sikora, to Cooper, to Eddie. Three-pointer on the way, off the iron, no good. Rebound by Janice, and foul being called on the floor, and I think it's on Charlo. And that's the third team foul on the Vikings. First foul on Charlo. Well, yeah, Dan was nodding his head. Inbound pass to Mittermeier, that's Eddie. To Sikora from three, no good. Rebound taken out by the Vikings. Albright with it, coming down the floor. Gets it over to Johnson. Cross-court pass to Ensminger on the left side. Ensminger out high, wide, and right to Johnson. Johnson feeds it to the free throw line to Charlo. Tries to get it to Lenz, and we're going to get a blocking foul called. I think it might be on Janice. No, it's not.
20?
It's on Sikora. Jordan Sikora for the Macks. Charlo at the line. First shot on the way, it's good. And the Vikings have their first lead of the game, 20-19. Second shot on the way, it's good. 21-19. Mittermeier, now they get it down in the corner to Flanagan, and we've got a whistle. I think it follows on Johnson. And Sikora in for Johnson. That's the fourth team foul on the Vikings. Ball gets inbounded to Flanagan. You get it out to Eddie Mittermeier. To Sikora. To Mittermeier. To Cooper Mittermeier. Pass is intercepted by Albright, or by Sikora. He lays it up, no good. Rebound by Ensminger is good.
Yeah, good job by Colfax to get back and pick up the rebound.
And we have a whistle and a travel by the Macks. Vikings 23, Chipple McDonell 19. Vikings bring it down the floor. Ensminger, Sikora, Charlo to Albright, and they're going to get Albright taking an extra step before the ball goes to the floor. Albright on the travel. So the Macks get it out of bounds. Down the floor come the Macks. Ball gets knocked loose out of bounds by Charlo. So it'll still be the Macks ball down on the baseline.
Charlo going without the headband tonight.
Mittermeier puts a three-pointer up. Vikings still up by one, 23-22. Sikora gets it over to Ensminger. Ensminger to Albright on the left. To Lenz down at the left baseline. Back out to the left wing. Cross-court pass to Sikora. His shot is blocked by Janis, but it goes out of bounds. Vikings will maintain possession.
Well, now it's Tristan Lenz's turn to start being aggressive. We got Nick Jensen.
And now Jensen comes in for Lenz right after you say that. Sikora gets it to Ensminger. Ensminger to Charlo. Charlo drives the lane and we get a foul underneath there. It fouls on Janis. It's the 9th team foul on the Macks. Charlo with the 1-on-1. First shot's on the way, no good. Rebound taken down by Flanagan. Down the floor comes Mittermeier. This is Eddie. Over to Cooper. To Flanagan, to Eddie. To Cooper. High, wide, and right. Three-pointer on the way. No good. Rebound. Fought for. Comes away by the Macks. Eddie Mittermeier with the shot. No good. Jensen got a hand on it, but it went off of Carter Stelter of the Macks, and so it'll be Viking ball out of bounds.
Good first half by Nick Jensen.
3:10 to go in the first half. Sikora gets it to Ensminger. Back out high to Sikora. Over onto the left side to Albright. To Sikora. To Ensminger. 10-footer is up and good. 25-22. Vikings up by 3. 2:48 to go. Mittermeier gets it over to their Sikora. To Cooper Mittermeier down to the baseline to Janis. Back out to Cooper. To Janis. Drives the baseline, lays it up and in. Well, if he gets an open path on the baseline, it's automatic.
Yeah, he's got 10.
Down the floor comes Sikora. To Albright. Hesitation step by Ensminger. Gets it back out to Sikora. To Charlo in the lane. Out to Albright. Puts the shot up. No good. Rebound high from Ensminger. No good with his shot. And down the floor come the Macks. Eddie Mittermeier with it. He's between the circles. Gets it over to the right side. And to Flanagan, back out to Eddie, over to Cooper. Ball gets knocked away, and Jensen with it. Down to Ensminger. He lays it up, and it goes in. An off-balance layup, and Dan, you know I could tell it was off-balance? Because Ensminger ended up on his wallet.
Yeah, about 20 feet from the hoop.
27-24, Vikings up by 3. Baseline drive by Janis is no good, and we have it tied up. Jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the Macks. Minute 29 to go in the half. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, we have a Viking profile. It's Ryan Albright today. And Colfax High School report. Macks inbound it. Flanagan has it in the corner. Gets it out to Janis. Over to Eddie Mittermeier. Over to Cooper Mittermeier. To Flanagan. Over to Stelter. Then Cooper Mittermeier with a 3 is no good. Rebound taken down by Sikora for the Vikings. To Lenz. Now out to Sikora. Sikora with a pass over to Ensminger. Ensminger back over to Sikora on the right. To Lenz on the baseline, and he walked. He dragged that pivot foot. And coming into the lineup for the Macks is Cannon Huss. He replaced Flanagan. Cooper Mittermeier to Huss. Cross-court pass. Tap by Sikora out of bounds. So the Macks will keep possession. Just under 40 seconds to go. Eddie Mittermeier with it. Over to Stelter. To Huss at the free throw line. Drives down the lane, puts it up, and it goes in. 27-26. Vikings on top. Vikings bring it down the floor. Ensminger with it. Gets it out to Sikora, to Albright. Back to Sikora. To Ensminger, to Sikora, to Jensen. Working for the last shot. Ball gets stolen, though. This is Mittermeier. And his shot goes in. And that's the way the first half ends, with the Chippewa Falls McDonell Macks 28 and the Vikings 27. Coming up, we have Viking halftime on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Time now for Viking Halftime with this week's edition of Viking Profile and the Colfax High School Report. That's all coming up following this brief timeout.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Ryan Albright. And Ryan, you're a senior here at Colfax?
Yep.
And we know that you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities here at school?
I'm also in track.
Okay. So when did you start playing basketball? What kind of an experience has that been for you?
Well, I started whenever tournament ball started back in elementary school, and it's just been really good throughout my entire life.
Okay, so what's the most important thing that you've learned playing basketball?
Teamwork. Always have to have good teamwork to have a good team.
So when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some of the things that keep you interested or occupied?
I like to hunt and fish, and then I also work on a farm.
Okay, that'll keep you plenty busy, won't it? Yep. Okay, a few rapid fire questions for you. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Pie.
And your favorite kind?
Raspberry rhubarb.
Ooh, that sounds really good. We just might have to have some of that sometime. All right, your favorite color and why?
Blue, because I just like it.
Okay, and you know what? That's a perfectly good reason. All right, if you could have a superpower, what would that be and why?
I'd be able to fly because gas is too expensive.
Okay, and I understand that. All right, with a superpower like that, you're going to have a superhero name to go with it. So what's Ryan's superhero name?
Ryan.
Ryan, okay. All right, your favorite NBA team?
The Bucks.
All right, favorite collegiate team?
Wisconsin.
Okay, we're talking with Ryan Albright on Viking Profile. And Ryan, what are your plans for after high school?
I'm gonna go to college at Stout.
At Stout, do you know what you're going into?
Not yet. I'm still undecided.
Okay. How about a shout out to the family?
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Okay. And when people watch Viking games, where are they going to find you on the floor?
Pretty much anywhere. Mostly at guard, though.
Okay. All right. So we want to thank Ryan Albright for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. Every day he's hungry for something. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then it kind of starts to work itself out.
Time now for the Colfax High School report with an update about what's happening at Colfax High School.
The Colfax Vikings athletics got back into full swing last week with the girls basketball team having 3 games, the boys had 2, and the wrestlers had a season opening tournament. The Viking girls went 3-0 last week with dominating performances over the Clear Lake Warriors 70-43 and the Glenwood City Hilltoppers 76-21. The girls wrapped up the week by defeating Stanley Boyd 67-55 last Saturday. Those victories leave the girls with a season record of 5 wins and 1 loss. They're 1-0 in the Dun St. Croix Conference. The Viking boys opened their 2021-2022 season with a 50-45 win over the Amory Warriors. Then they ran into a buzzsaw when they suffered an 81-35 loss at the hands of the Bloomer Blackhawks. That leaves the boys with a record of 1 win and 1 loss on the season. The Bloomer Colfax wrestlers competed in the John Tim duels at Glenwood City last Saturday. The grapplers placed 4th out of 7 teams. The Bloomer Colfax finished with the 5 dual meets with a record of 2 wins and 3 losses. This week, it's the boys basketball team to have a very busy week with games on Tuesday at Glenwood City. Thursday, they'll host Mondovi, and on Saturday, they will take on the McDonell Central Macks in the Northwest Tip-Off Classic at UW-Stout. We will have all 3 games on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. On Friday, the Viking girls will host the Mondovi Buffaloes. We will also have that game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. The Bloomer Colfax wrestling team will host the Regis Altoona team in a dual meet on Thursday at Bloomer High School. Wrestling action begins at 7 p.m. Then on Saturday the 11th, the Grapplers travel to Eau Claire North to participate in the 32-team North High Wrestling Varsity Invitational. Wrestling begins at 9 a.m. Coming up next week, the Viking girls will have games on Tuesday the 14th and Friday the 17th. On Tuesday, they will host the Durand Panthers, and on Friday, they will travel to Boyceville to take on the Boyceville Bulldogs. We'll have both of those games on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. The Viking boys will play on Thursday next week when they host the Durand Panthers. We'll also have that game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. The Bloomer Colfax wrestling team will travel to Boyceville for a dual meet on Thursday. Wrestling action begins at 7 p.m. Then on Friday, the 17th, the Grapplers travel to Cameron, where wrestling begins at 5 p.m. In other school news, the annual holiday programs will be held on Tuesday of this week. Junior kindergarten will be at 9 a.m. and at 12:30 p.m. Kindergarten will be at 10:30 a.m. Grades 1 through 4 will be at 1:30 p.m. and grades 5 through 8 will be held at 7 p.m. If you can't make it to a concert and still wish to see it, you can find it on the Colfax School website at Viking TV. And that's what's happening for the week of December 5th through the 11th at Colfax High School.
You've been tuned to the Colfax High School report with an update about what's happening at Colfax High School. Stay tuned. Coming up next is more Viking halftime and then second half action.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's Viking game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
There we are, back here at Johnson Fieldhouse. Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow getting ready to start half number 2. Vikings will inbound the ball. Regular starters out on the floor for the Vikings to start the second half. Waiting for the Macks to come out on the floor. For the Macks, we have Galvez and Huss and Misfelt and Mittermeier and, of course, Janis. Albright inbounds it for the Vikings.
All right, Macks got the ball inside.
Janis on the pass from Huss.
Go Janis Colfax brings the ball to Ensminger. On the outside, Lenz up. McDonell brings the ball down. Goes inside. Ball skip, top of the key.
That's Misfelt. Now they've got it out high to Mittermeier. Over to Misfelt on the right. Back out to Mittermeier between the circles. That's over to Galvez on the left side. To Misfelt on the right wing. To Huss in the lane. Puts it up. It does not go in. Down the floor come the Vikings. 31-30, Vikings on top. Pass gets over to Ensminger. Ensminger with it. Back over to the right side. To Sikora, to Albright down in the corner. And they're going to call Albright for a travel. And I'll be honest with you, Dan, I don't see that travel.
I didn't either.
He had 1 foot planted the whole time.
Unless he slid the pivot foot a little bit.
Boy, that's pretty nitpicky. Long cross-court pass over to Galvez. Mittermeier gets the loose ball, puts it up and in. And we have a timeout being called by the Vikings. 32-31. Coach Knoll a little on the upset side. And we'll be back right after this.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
Coach Knoll wanted that timeout pretty badly. As you were saying during the timeout, things are a little slow. Vikings just aren't bringing that same energy they've had the last couple games.
Yeah, they had a bunch of guys down low and nobody boxed out. Easy points for McDonell.
So the Vikings have it. Cross-court pass to Sikora. Takes it to the free throw line. Lenz takes it into the lane, kicks it out to Albright. They try to feed it into the lane. It's intercepted. Galvez with it, takes it up. No good. Rebound by Ensminger. Ensminger brings it down the floor, takes it onto the left side, drives into the lane, puts it up, no good. Lenz with the putback, and he got it. Vikings back on top, 33-32.
Yeah, good timeout by a coach there to help Lenz out a little bit. Maybe put a little fire in him. Good job by Lenz to respond.
So the Macks bring it down the floor. Mittermeier with it. Through the center circle, feeds it over onto the right side to Misfelt. Back out to Mittermeier, to Galvez on the left. Cross-court pass to Misfelt. To Mittermeier at the top of the key. Over to Galvez, to Janis from the left baseline. Jumper is good. And the Macks go back on top. We've got a little seesaw action going here. Albright with it, gets it out to Ensminger. Back to Albright. Out to Sikora, three-pointer on the way. It's a little bit off. Rebound attempted to go back up is Charlo, and it gets blocked out of bounds by Janis. You know, Dan, I wonder that blue three-point arc is actually the men's collegiate three-point arc, and I wonder if that's throwing the players off a little, because I see them taking the threes from behind that line. And we have a travel being called on Ensminger.
Yeah, I noticed that in the other game before this. They were shooting back there.
There's a real light colored line that meets at the top of the key. That's the high school three-point line. And that's about 2.5 feet different, or 2 feet different anyway. And that's enough to throw you off. Driving down as Janis puts a shot up. It's no good. And we're going to get a foul underneath, and that's going to be on Huss. How many is that on him, Dan? For Cannon Huss.
Cannon Huss, I got 2 for him.
That's the first team foul on the Macks in this half. Lenz has it on the right baseline. Feeds it into the lane to Charlo. Puts it up, no good. Rebound taken down by the Macks. Misfelt with it down the left side. Feeds it over to the left wing. Now to the top of the key. Shot is up, no good by Huss. And Janis with it. And we've got a foul on the floor. I think it's going to be on Ensminger. It is. First foul on the Vikings. Stelter in the lineup for Huss. For the Macks. Galvez inbounds it to Misfelt. Gets it over to Mittermeier. Back out high, then over to Mittermeier on the right wing, and he hit the three.
Yeah, good ball movement by McDonell.
McDonell up by 4. 37-33. Ensminger with it from the elbow, puts the shot up, and we get a whistle and a foul. They thought they had all ball, but they had all Ensminger.
I heard lots of skin.
He's going to the floor and going to the line. 13:34 remaining in the game. Elijah Ensminger's shot is no good. Gets the ball. Second shot on the way. That one's good. 37-34. Vikings trail by 3. Mittermeier across the timeline. Gets it over to Galvez on the left. Cross court pass to Misfelt. On the right. Over to Galvez on the left. To Janis, to Galvez. To Mittermeier, and the ball gets knocked loose by the Vikings. Charlo has it. Drives into the lane, puts it up in air. 37-36. Vikings down by 1. This is Galvez from the left wing, and he hit the 3. 40-36. Triple McDonell opens up a 4-point lead. Sikora gets it over to Lenz. Cross court pass. Hensminger from the free throw line puts it up off the iron. No good. Charlo with the putback. No good. Lenz with it. Puts it to the floor. Goes back up. No good. 3 tries for the Vikings. They couldn't get one to fall. Mittermeier with it. Gets it over to Misfelt on the right. Cross court pass to the left to Galvez. Out high to Mittermeier. To Misfelt on the right, to Janice at the baseline, puts a shot up, it's no good, and we're going to get a foul. I think it's on Charlo. Oops, I take it back. It's on Lenz.
That's his second.
Jensen getting ready to come into the game for the Vikings. First shot is up, no good. Jensen in for Charlo. Medine is also in for Sikora. Second shot on the way, no good. Jensen with the rebound. To Albright. To Medine across the timeline. It's Medine. Over to Ensminger on the left. To Medine on the right. Feeds it down low to Lentz in the right corner. Diagonal pass out to Ensminger, then the pass into Albright, and the shot is no good. Picked up by the Macks. Janice takes it down the baseline and puts it in. 42-36, a 6-point lead now for the Macks. Medine with it, high, wide, and right. Gets it over to Ensminger. Ensminger spins at the free throw line, puts it up and in. Elijah Ensminger with the spinning jump shot.
He's got 11.
42-38. Galvez out high to Mittermeier. 3-pointer goes in. 45-38. 7-point lead. We have a whistle. I believe it's a foul on Galvez. That's the 3rd team foul on the Macks. Charlo into the lineup to give Lenz a break. Vikings inbound it. Ensminger has it on the left side. He's high, wide, and left. Cross-court pass over to Medine. Medine takes it down the right side. Gives it over to Charlo. Drives down the right side of the lane. Lays it up and in. Jack Charlo with the layup. 45-40. Macks on top. Ball gets knocked out of bounds. It was off of Medine. It'll be the Macks ball. Some pretty good hustle that time by Mitch Medine. They didn't get possession of it, but he disrupted the flow for the Macks. Mittermeier gets it over to Misfelt, to Galvez. Galvez took an extra step, slid that pivot foot is what he did.
Yeah, Mitch Medine is starting to get a little more play time for Coach Noel.
Ensminger with it. Comes across the timeline on the left side. Gets it over to Medine. Feeds it to the free throw line to Jensen. Back out to Medine. Feeds it back to Jensen in the lane. Dishes it off underneath the Charlo, who lays it up and in. 45-42. Vikings down by 3. Misfelt with it on the right side. Out to Mittermeier. 3-pointer's no good. Rebound taken down by Janice. To Galvez. 3-pointer on the way, no good. Ensminger with it. And we got a jump ball. And the possession arrows in favor of the Macks. Sikora into the lineup for the Vikings, replacing Medine. Ball gets inbounded to Huss. Drives the baseline, gets it out to Galvez, to Mittermeier, to Galvez on the left side. Pass is intercepted by Ensminger. Ensminger takes it down the right side, puts it up, lays it in. A little bit of a hip check as he went up.
He's got 13.
45-44, Vikings close it to 1. Misfelt with a long three, no good, but the putback is good. That was by Galvez. 47-44. Ensminger down the floor. Sikora with it. Gets it over to Jensen. Jensen to Ensminger. Back to Jensen. Drives down the left side of the lane. Turns around, puts it up. It's no good. Rebound taken down by the Macks. Huss with it. Gets it into the lane to Janis, who lays it up and in. That's 18 for Janis tonight, or today. 49-44. Sikora with it to Jensen. Back out to Ensminger. Ensminger tries to get it to Jensen, but the ball got tipped. Down the floor comes Mittermeier, and he lays it in. 51-44, back up to a 7-point lead. Sikora to Ensminger, back to Sikora. To Charlo, tries to go up with it. We're going to get a foul on Janis.
It's 2 on Janis.
Foul on Joe Janis, checking into the game for Colfax for 22.
Lenz in for Jensen. Vikings to inbound. Ensminger with it. High, wide, and left. Down into the left corner to Albright, then gets it to Charlo, goes up. Ball got knocked loose, right back into his hands. Then gets it over to Lenz. His shot is no good. Charlo with the putback, and he got fouled going up. Jack Charlo to go to the line for 2.
Yeah, good job by Colfax to hang in the rim.
First shot is up and in. Janis, Huss, Galvez, Mittermeier, and Misfelt out there for the Macks. Second shot is up. It's also good. Albright, Lenz, Charlo, Ensminger, and Sikora for the Vikings. Mittermeier with it between the circles. Gets it over to the left side to Huss. Cross-court pass to the right side. And Misfelt, he came down kind of funny. Three-pointer went up by Mittermeier, and it was good.
He's got the hot hand right now.
Pass gets into the lane to Charlo. Back out to Sikora. Then to Charlo. Gives it to Lenz, who puts it off the glass and in. 54-48. 6-point game. 6:55 to go in the game. Mittermeier to Misfelt to Mittermeier. Back to Misfelt on the right. To Janis at the baseline, gets knocked out of bounds by Charlo.
Yeah, good read by Charlo there.
And we have a timeout called by the Vikings. 54-48, Macks on top, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Are you looking for finances? Security is just so important. Dairy State Bank's online banking and mobile app offers dozens of new and enhanced real-time alerts. Whether an ATM withdrawal is made or a login to your account failed, you'll instantly know. So now, the technology that makes it easier to manage your money is also making it safer. Visit dairystatebank.com or call to learn more. Dairy State Bank. Banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Dairy State Bank.
your life. Pleasant Valley Properties provides affordable housing and homes in communities in Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska. They have staff available to help you locate the home that best meets your needs and desires, as well as service staff that maintains the properties. Contact Pleasant Valley Properties at 715-226-6200. Call today and let them help you get into the home of your dreams. That's Pleasant Valley Properties, 301 Grammar Avenue in Colfax.
And we're back here at Johnson Fieldhouse on the campus of UW-Stout for the Northwest Tip-Off Classic. It helps if I turn my mic on.
Awfully quiet.
It was. So we're here at the Northwest Tip-Off Classic, and Dan, we've got a back-and-forth nail-biter going on. Macks inbound it, misfelt it, gets it over to the left side. Ball gets stolen by Sikora for the Vikings. Takes it down, lays it up, puts it in. 54-50. 4-point game with 6.5 minutes to go. Mittermeier bringing it down the floor for the Macks. Over to Huss, puts up the three, and he hit the three-pointer. Dan, I'm still seeing them all shoot from outside that college three-point arc. I think that is confusing the players.
Yeah.
Pass to Charlo. Down into the corner to Albright. Back out high to Ensminger. Ensminger over to Sikora. Sikora back to Ensminger. Over to Charlo. Turns around on the left side. Gives it to Albright. Over to the right side. Now back out high to Albright on the right. To Sikora, high, wide, and right. Sikora drives down towards the lane. Kicks it out to Charlotte, to Lenz. Lenz tries to drive into the lane. Can't quite control it. Gets it to Albright. Albright to Sikora. To Ensminger. Ensminger puts up the jumper. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Charlo. We're going to get a foul on the floor.
Foul on Janis.
And that's a foul on Janis. Should be his third.
That's his third.
And sixth team foul, which means the Vikings will be in the bonus from here on out. Jensen into the lineup for Lenz. Inbound pass to Jensen. Gets it out to Ensminger. Ensminger to Albright. Puts up the shot. It's short. Jensen tries to save it, but it goes right into the hands of Flanagan. Down the floor come the Macks. It's Mittermeier. Feeds it to Huss. Drives down the side of the lane. Puts a shot up. It's no good. Gets his own rebound. They get it out to Misfelt. To Mittermeier. Between the circles. Over to Misfelt on the right, to the left side. This is Huss, and he walked. Boy, they do call that quick. That's a real quick traveling call.
Yeah, you got to get that ball on the floor.
Ensminger, across the timeline. Feeding it over to the right side to Jensen. Cross-court pass over to Ensminger. Ensminger puts the shot up. It's a two-pointer just inside the high school arc. 57-52, 5-point game. Misfelt with it. Cross-court pass. They feed it underneath. The Flanagan lays it up. No good. Rebound taken down by Albright. Albright feeds it to Sikora. He can't quite control it, but he gets it back to Jensen. Puts up the shot. He hit it. Nick Jensen with a two-pointer, 57-54.
He's got 10.
Mittermeier fed it over to Misfelt, then gets it over to the left side to Huss. To Galvez. To Misfelt, three-pointer on the way, no good. Rebound taken down by Sikora. Sikora takes it the whole way, loses control, it goes out of bounds.
Good job by Macks defense to get back.
Macks touched it as he was trying to go up for the layup, but then Sikora touched it himself before it went out of bounds. So the Macks have it. 3:43 to go. Huss with it. Gets it over to Misfelt on the right. To the free throw line to Galvez. Back to Misfeld. Three-pointer on the way. It's good. Down the floor comes Ensminger. Puts on the brakes on the right side. Takes it out between the circles. Vikings overloaded to one side. Now they get it balanced. Ensminger from the left corner puts it up. No good. They steal the pass, but now the Macks get it right back again. And down the floor comes Mittermeier. Getting it over to the right side to Misfeld. We have a foul being called on Ensminger. That's the third team foul on the Vikings. Vikings do have another 3 to give. Macks inbound it. They're going to have to start thinking about that pretty soon. Cross-court pass over to Huss. Back over to the right side to Misfeld. To the top of the key. Now over to the left to Huss. Ball's loose on the floor. Picked up by Charlo. Feeds it over to Ensminger. Drives in, puts it up off the iron. No good. Charlo with the rebound. Takes it down the left baseline, lays it up and in. 60-56. We got another close one, Dan.
Charlo's got 16.
Huss with it. Out to Mittermeier. Back to Huss on the left. Cross-court pass over to the right. Back to the left. Back to the right. They feed it to the right elbow, then to Huss. And he got fouled in the lane.
Yeah, Colfax is trying to play that 1-3-1 right now. And McDonald's got it figured out. They got him kind of running all over the place.
They're saying that was a shooting foul. Because that's only the 4th foul on the Vikings. First shot is no good. Second shot by Huss is good. 61-56. Vikings trailing by 5. Albright passes a little off the mark, picked up by Huss, and he lays it in. Down the floor come the Vikings. Ball gets knocked loose. Charlo has it. Feeds underneath to Jensen, puts a shot up and in. And a timeout on the floor. It's the Macks 63, Vikings 58. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
When you've checked that hayfield and find it's time to harvest, give a call to Aaron's Custom Baling. Aaron will provide you with 4x5 net-wrapped round bales. He can even give your bales that spruced up look with select custom netting if you'd like. Serving Western Wisconsin, that's Aaron's Custom Baling. Call 715-202-0118.
Join us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV for exciting Colfax High School boys basketball.
This is what we came here for!
Our next game will be on Thursday, December 16th when the Vikings host the Durand Panthers. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:55 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking boys basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Thursday, December 16th.
Back here at Johnson Fieldhouse. Macks with a 5-point lead. Minute 31 to go in the game. 63-58. They inbound it to Janis. Galvez brings it down the floor. And we have a foul being called on Albright.
Colfax has a couple to give yet, so it's probably a good foul.
Inbound pass to Mittermeier. Mittermeier gets it across the timeline. To Huss, and now we get another foul by Albright.
Is that bonus?
Was on Galvez. That's the 6th team foul on the Vikings. And now we get another foul. And that one's on Charlo.
Yeah, so we'll finish it at the line.
That's the way it looks. Both teams in the bonus. Huss at the line with the 1-on-1. First one's up and good. 64-58. Second shot on the way. It's also good. 65-58. It's now a 3-possession game. Charlo with it. Gets it over into the corner. 3-pointer on the way. Rims around, out. And we have a foul called on Charlo on the rebound. And I believe it'll be Huss going to the line again. Vikings trail by 7. Huss with the 1-on-1. First shot on the way. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Albright. Quickly down the floor. Feeds it out to Ensminger. Ensminger on the left side. Spins. Gets it back out to Albright. To Charlo. 3-pointer on the way is no good. Rebound tipped around and Ensminger gets it. To Sikora. To Albright. He hit the 3. Ryan Albright with a 3-pointer. Inbound pass, and Ryan Albright gets in there right away and fouls him. 4-point game. Mittermeier going to the line for the 1-on-1. That's 9 fouls on the Vikings.
The second shot will not count.
67-61, 37.2 seconds left in the game. Colfax has the ball. Into Sikora. Across the timeline. Old Ensminger. Top of the key. 3's off. Touch by Bentley. McDonell. Poker press for Colfax. And a foul.
66-61, 21.4 seconds remaining.
Fouls on Sikora.
That'll be the 10th team foul, so it'll be double bonus now for the Macks. Mittermeier at the line. First shot is good. Second shot is up. It's also good. 68-61. Down the floor comes Sikora. 3-pointer launched is no good. Rebound taken down by the Macks. 10 seconds remaining. Mittermeier with it. Gets it over, and they're going to put the ball on the hip. Hands are getting shook, and that's going to be the end of the game. Final score. Macks 68, Vikings 61. We'll be back with Viking postgame right after this timeout. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, and NLWN TV.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Viking Boys Basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Post Game, where we'll take a look back at today's Viking game.
Time now for Viking Post Game, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Post Game.
And we're back here at Johnson Fieldhouse on UW-Stout campus. Vikings just dropped a 68-61 tight ball game throughout. The Vikings were in there the whole time, just couldn't quite get over the hump. They had a little bit of a lead late in the first half and just couldn't make it stick. And the Macks played really hard, played to their height, played to their strength, and Vikings ended up on the bottom end of it.
Yeah, they matched up really well with McDonell tonight.
And so we have one of the Stout folks coming up and checking on us here. And we are a part of the Northwest Tip-Off Classic, and we're waiting to see if Coach Noel comes up here to chat with us today. A couple other games have already happened in the Classic. Bloomer knocked off Cadott 63-27. Thorpe defeated Glenwood City 35-21, and the Vikings just lost to the McDonell Macks 68-61 in so far what has been the best matchup of the day. It was a pretty decent basketball game, Dan.
Yeah, that was a really good matchup. The Colfax interior, they matched up really well. They shut down Joe Janis in the second half a little bit, and they stuck with him till the end. Came down to free throws.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a bit of a timeout here. We'll see if Coach is coming up here, and we'll get the final stats on today's game right after this timeout. You're tuned to Viking Post Game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Hi there, Russell here. I'm one of Santa's elves. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm his chief elf when it comes to making deliveries on Christmas Eve. It's a busy time here at the North Pole. We elves are pretty good at assembling things. That's why the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV asked me to assemble their Christmas gift to you. So here's what I've come up with. We're all going on a ride with Santa on Christmas Eve. Not his whole trip, but part of it. And I have the in-flight entertainment all lined up. So join me, Santa, and the Northern Light Webcasting Network along with NLWN TV on Christmas Eve beginning at 7 p.m.
The black truck? Hey!
Girls basketball.
Our next game will be on Tuesday, December 14th, when the Vikings host the Durham Panthers. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:55 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Tuesday, December 14th.
And we're back here with Viking post game here at Johnson Fieldhouse on the campus of UW-Stout. Vikings drop one 68-61 to the Chippewa Falls McDonell Macks. And Dan, why don't you tell us how we got to the 68-61 numbers?
Yeah, here's the score for McDonell. Their leading scorer tonight was number 44, Joe Janis. He had 18. We had Eddie Mittermeier with 17. We had Cannon Huss with 10. We had Keegan Galvez with 8. And we had Aiden Misfelt with 3. For the Colfax Vikings, their leading scorer tonight was number 23, Jack Charlo. He had 16. We had number 10, Elijah Ansminger with 15. We had Nick Jensen with 12. We had Tristan Lenz with 8. We had Ryan Albrecht with 6. And we had Bryce Sikora with 2. 68.
And that comes out to 68-61. And I'll tell you what, in the early part of the game, it appeared to me as though the Vikings were having a difficult time bringing the same energy level to the game that they had in the last couple of games. But once they got that figured out, they played pretty hard and worked really hard at it. It's not so much later in the game that they did things wrong. It's just that the Macks did them a little better. And that accounted for a 7-point difference.
Yeah, at first Colfax looked a little lost, but they kind of settled in. I mean, this is a bigger facility. You know, kind of got to get used to the new lights and where the hoop sits and, you know.
You know, that's also something a lot of people don't take into account. It's open behind both ends of the floor, and so the view of the backstop just isn't the same. It's similar. It's the same distance. I always think about that scene in the movie Hoosiers where they get out with a tape measure and they measure everything, and they see that it's really the same. But the vision of it is different. And so that takes a little off your shot. And then I really do think the players were, I don't know if they were confused or if it's an optical illusion or what, on the floor where the three-point arc is for the collegiate players is different than where it is for the high school players. And they do have one down there for high school, but it's pretty faint on the floor compared to the one for the collegiate players.
Yeah, it went both ways. All of the shots for 3 came behind the black line instead of the...
Or that dark blue, yeah. I agree with you. I think that they were putting those shots up from outside and further back than they needed to be. And you could see it, especially in the Vikings 3-point shots, that aside from the game on Thursday, that game on Thursday when Ryan Albright went in fuego on it, the Vikings aren't really known for putting up a lot of threes. And so that was just enough to throw them off, and it made the threes pretty difficult. And in fact, when Albright sank his 3 late in the game, it was down in the corner where the lines are pretty close to each other. And so it probably didn't throw them up. But when they were trying to pump those threes from the top of the key, they weren't at the top of the key. They were another 2.5 feet behind it, and that's going to throw your shot off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a different look out here.
And so, but anyway, the Vikings went out and gave a fair representation of themselves, worked hard, just came up on this short end of the score.
Yeah, they seem like they're starting to match up a little better this year. You know, kind of figuring out Coach Snow what he's looking for, and They just got to stick with that game plan.
Well, it appears as though Coach Knoll is spending a little more coaching time, and, you know, with the last couple games that they've had, that's something that's pretty important because he's got to keep their attitudes up because they've played hard and they're learning, and things are going to get better for the Vikings as the season goes along. There is another game getting ready to get played, Unity against Fall Creek, and that's coming up in a few minutes. But I want to remind you to join NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network on Thursday, December 16th, as the Viking boys will take on the Durand Panthers. Live coverage begins with Viking pregame beginning at 6:55. That'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax boys basketball on Thursday, December 16th on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Also, don't forget about the girls. They'll be on Tuesday the 14th as the Viking girls host the Durand Panthers in Dunn St. Croix Conference action. Live coverage again begins with Viking pregame at 6:55. And all the live play-by-play action of the game is right after that. That's Colfax Vikings girls basketball on Tuesday on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. The Bloomer Colfax wrestling team is going to travel over to Boyceville to take on the Bulldogs in a dual meet. And that is on Thursday. Wrestling action begins at 7 p.m. Don't forget to start making your plans to tune into either the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service or NLWN TV for our holiday gift to you for 2021. We will bring you the finest in Christmas-themed old-time radio programs, including the famous Campbell Playhouse production of Orson Welles and Lionel Barrymore in Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. That's Christmas Eve, beginning at 7 p.m. on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game has been brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital, Dairy State Bank, Anderson Bridges, Slayton's Technology, Pleasant Valley Properties, Aaron's Custom Bailing, Fit Fam Nutrition of Colfax, and Kyle's Buff and Shine. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors for bringing you Colfax Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. So for Dan Petchow and Chris Olson, this is Rick Olson. Final score once again, Chippewa McDonell Central Macks 68, Colfax Vikings 61. You've been tuned to Viking Postgame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.